The ship was falling apart around him. Kang Dohan gripped the controls with both hands as fire and smoke filled the cockpit. Warning lights flashed red. The computer voice kept repeating the same message over and over. Hull breach. Hull breach. Impact in 60 seconds. He was supposed to be on a simple patrol mission near the outer edge of human space. Nothing dangerous. Nothing exciting. Just fly around, check the sensors, and go home. But then something had hit his ship. He did not see what it was. One moment, everything was fine. The next moment, his ship was spinning toward an unknown planet below. Duhan pulled hard on the controls. The ship did not respond well, but he managed to turn its nose upward a little. Maybe he could survive the crash. Maybe. Come on, he said through his teeth. Come on, come on. The planet below was green and blue. It looked beautiful from up here. He had never seen this world before. It was not on any human map. That meant it belonged to someone else. Someone who might not be friendly to humans. The ground came up fast. Too fast. Dallin closed his eyes and held on. The crash was violent. Metal screamed and tore. Glass shattered. Dallin was thrown forward, and then everything went black. When he opened his eyes again, he was lying in dirt. His ship was a broken mess behind him. Smoke rose into a purple sky. Purple. The sky was purple here. Strange. His body hurt everywhere. He tried to move his arms and legs. They worked, but barely. Nothing seemed broken, which was a miracle. He was alive. Somehow, he was alive. Duhan slowly sat up and looked around. He was in some kind of forest. The trees were tall and thin, with leaves that glowed a soft blue color. The air smelled sweet like flowers. It was quiet. Too quiet. He reached for the small gun at his belt. It was still there. Good. He also checked his communication device. Dead. Broken in the crash. He could not call for help. He was alone on an alien world with no way to contact anyone. Great, he said to himself. Just great. He stood up slowly and leaned against a tree. His legs were weak, but he could walk. He needed to find water. He needed to find food. He needed to stay alive until someone came looking for him. But before he could take a single step, he heard something. It was a clicking sound. Like insects. Like many, many insects. The sound came from all around him. From the trees. From the ground. From everywhere. Dong raised his gun and turned in a circle. His heart was beating fast now. Then he saw them. They came out of the forest like shadows. Tall creatures with hard shells covering their bodies. They had 4 arms and 2 legs. Their heads were shaped like triangles, and they had large eyes that reflected the light like mirrors. Each one held a weapon that looked like a spear made of crystal. There were at least 20 of them. Maybe more. Duhan knew he could not fight them all. He was one man with a small gun. They were many, and they looked strong. One of the creatures stepped forward. It was bigger than the others. Its shell was darker, almost black. It made a series of clicking sounds, and then it spoke in a language Dohan did not understand. Dohan kept his gun up. I do not want trouble, he said slowly. My ship crashed. I mean no harm. The creature tilted its head. It clicked again. Then it raised one of its 4 arms and pointed at Dohan's gun. The message was clear. Put it down. Duhan thought about fighting. He thought about running. But he knew both options would end with his death. He was surrounded. He was hurt. He was alone. Slowly he lowered his gun and placed it on the ground. The creatures moved quickly. 2 of them grabbed his arms and pulled them behind his back. They were strong. Very strong. Dalhun could not move at all. They put something around his wrists. It felt like metal, but it was warm and seemed to move like it was alive. Some kind of alien handcuff. Then they started walking, and they pulled him along with them. They walked through the forest for a long time. Doan's legs hurt. His head hurt. Everything hurt. But the creatures did not stop. They did not slow down. They just kept walking, clicking to each other in their strange language. After what felt like hours, the forest ended. Dohan saw something that made him stop breathing for a moment. A city, but it was not like any city he had ever seen. The buildings were made of the same crystal material as the spears. They rose up into the purple sky like giant teeth. Lights glowed from inside them, soft and blue. The streets were smooth and clean. And everywhere, there were more of the insect creatures. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. They all stopped and looked at Dawn as he was pulled through the streets. Their mirror eyes followed him. They clicked and whispered to each other. He could feel their curiosity, their suspicion, their fear. A human. They had captured a human. Dohan did not know if these creatures had ever seen a human before. He did not know if they were enemies of humanity or just strangers. But the way they looked at him made him feel like a dangerous animal. Something to be careful around. The guards took him to the largest building in the city. It stood in the center, towering over everything else. Its walls were covered in symbols that Doan did not recognize. Some kind of writing, maybe. Or art. He could not tell. They went inside. The inside of the building was even more impressive than the outside. The walls were smooth and white. The floor was made of something that looked like glass but felt solid under his boots. Everything was clean and perfect. Not a single mark or stain anywhere. They walked down a long hallway. Guards stood on both sides, watching with their mirror eyes. Daohan counted at least 50 of them. Whatever was at the end of this hallway, it was important. Finally, they reached a set of large doors. The doors were made of gold, or something that looked like gold. They had images carved into them. Dohan saw shapes that might have been these insect creatures. He saw stars and planets. He saw ships and battles. And he saw something else. A human. The image was old. The carving was worn in some places. But it was clearly a human figure, standing tall among the insect creatures. The human had one arm raised, holding something bright. A weapon? A torch? Dohan could not tell before he could look closer. The doors opened. The room beyond was enormous. The ceiling was so high that Dohan could barely see it. Pillars of crystal lined the walls. And at the far end of the room, on a throne made of the same gold material as the doors, sat the queen. Dohan knew she was the queen because everything about her said so. She was larger than the other creatures. Her shell was not black or brown, but deep purple, the same color as the sky outside. Her eyes were not just mirrors. They seemed to glow with a light of their own. And on her head, she wore a crown of crystal that sparkled like stars. She was beautiful in a strange way. Powerful. Ancient. The guards pushed Dohan forward. He stumbled, but managed to stay on his feet. They pushed him again, and he fell to his knees in front of the throne. The queen looked down at him. Her expression was impossible to read. Her face did not move like a human face, but her eyes studied him carefully. Every part of him. She spoke. Her voice was different from the others. It was musical, almost like singing. But Dohan still did not understand the words. Then something changed. The queen leaned forward on her throne. Her eyes focused on something. On Dohan's neck. Dohan had a tattoo there. On the left side of his neck, just below his ear. It was a simple design. A circle with 3 lines coming out of it, like rays of light. His father had the same tattoo. His grandfather had it too. It had been in his family for as long as anyone could remember. He never knew what it meant. His father said it was tradition. His grandfather said it was important. But no one ever explained why. The queen rose from her throne. Everyone in the room went silent. The guards, who had been clicking quietly to each other, stopped completely. The air itself seemed to hold its breath. The queen walked down the steps from her throne. She moved slowly, gracefully. Her eyes never left Dahan's neck. She stopped right in front of him. She was so close that he could feel warmth coming from her body. She smelled like flowers and rain. She reached out one of her 4 hands. Her fingers were long and thin, ending in sharp points. But she did not hurt him. She gently touched his neck, tracing the lines of his tattoo, and then she spoke again. But this time, Dahan understood. The words came out in human language. It was not perfect. The sounds were strange in her mouth. But he understood. "The mark of the Savior," she said. Her voice was trembling. I thought it was gone forever." Dahan did not know what to say. He did not know what was happening. The queen stepped back. She looked at him differently now. Not like a prisoner. Not like a dangerous animal. Like something precious. Something sacred. "I owe you my existence." "Human," she said, and then she did something that shocked everyone in the room. She knelt before him, the queen of the Velen Empire, ruler of 1,000 worlds, knelt before a simple human soldier. The guards made sounds of surprise. Some of them fell to their knees too. Others stood frozen, not knowing what to do. Dahan's mind was spinning. "I do not understand," he said. "What is happening? What is this mark?" The queen looked up at him. Her glowing eyes were wet. "Were those tears?" "You carry the blood of the one who saved us all," she said. "The one who gave everything so that my people could live. Your ancestor. The great human, the Savior." Dahan shook his head. "My ancestor? I do not know what you are talking about. This tattoo is just a family tradition. It does not mean anything." "It means everything," the queen said. "It means everything." She stood up again. Her voice was stronger now, filled with emotion. 300 years, the news spread through the palace like fire through dry grass. Within minutes, every guard, every servant, every official knew what had happened. The descendant of the Savior had come. The human with the sacred mark had arrived on Vila. Dahan stood in the throne room, still trying to understand what was happening. The queen, whose name he learned was Yira, had ordered food and water to be brought for him. She had ordered doctors to check his wounds from the crash. She had ordered her best servants to prepare a room for him. He was being treated like a king. Not a prisoner. Not a crashed pilot. "A king, please," Queen Yira said, gesturing to a chair that had been brought for him. "Sit. You must be tired. You must be confused." Dahan sat down slowly. His body was grateful for the rest, but his mind could not relax. Everything was happening too fast. "I have many questions," he said. "And I will answer all of them," the queen replied. She sat down on a smaller throne that had been placed near him. Not above him, near him, at his level. "But first, you must eat. You must recover your strength." Servants came forward. They carried trays of strange food. Some of it looked like fruit. Some of it looked like meat. All of it was in colors that Dahan had never seen on food before. Blue, purple, silver. He hesitated. "It is safe for humans," Queen Yira said, understanding his worry. "We have studied your kind. We know what you can and cannot eat." Dahan picked up something that looked like a blue apple. He took a small bite. It was sweet. Very sweet. Like honey and strawberries mixed together. He took another bite. "Good?" the queen asked. "Very good," he admitted. While he ate, people kept coming into the throne room. Officials in fancy robes. Military leaders in armor. Scientists with strange devices. They all wanted to see him. They all wanted to look at the human with the mark. Some of them cried. actual tears running down their hard shells. They fell to their knees when they saw him. They spoke words that his translator could not fully understand. Prayers, maybe. Or oaths. It was overwhelming. Why do they react this way? Dohan asked between bites of food. I have done nothing. I am just a soldier. A simple pilot. You carry the blood, Queen Yura explained. For our people, blood is sacred. Family is everything. Your ancestor gave his life for us. That means his family is our family. His blood is precious to us. But 300 years have passed. Many generations. The blood must be very thin by now. The queen shook her head. Blood does not become thin. Family does not fade. You are his descendant. That is all that matters. Dohan looked at all the people in the room. Hundreds of alien faces, all looking at him with love and respect he had not earned. I do not feel like I deserve this, he said honestly. Queen Yura reached out and touched his hand. Her touch was gentle despite her sharp fingers. You do not need to earn what was given to your bloodline, she said. Your ancestor earned it for you. That is how honor works. That is how debt works. It passes from generation to generation. Dawn thought about this. In human culture, people were judged by their own actions, not by what their grandparents or great-grandparents did. But clearly, the Velen saw things differently. Tell me about him, Dohan said. Tell me about Kang Ti-Wu. I never knew this story. My family never told me. The queen's eyes changed. They became distant, like she was looking at something far away. Something in the past. I was not alive when it happened, she admitted. But every child on Vela learns this story. It is the most important story we have. It is the story of our survival. She stood up and walked to a large window. The purple sky outside was getting darker. Night was coming. 300 years ago, my people were at war. Not with humans. With ourselves. Different factions fought for control of the empire. Brother against brother. Mother against daughter. It was a terrible time. Dahong listened carefully. While we were fighting each other, a great danger approached. A plague ship. You may not know what that means. I do not, Dohon admitted. Long ago, before my people reached the stars, there was a sickness. A terrible sickness that killed millions. We thought we had destroyed it, but some of our enemies, other aliens from a distant galaxy, they found it. They made it stronger. They put it on a ship and sent it toward our homeworld. The queen's voice became heavy with pain. If that ship had reached Vela, every Velen would have died. The plague was designed to kill only us. Our bodies cannot fight it. There is no cure. Dawn felt cold. He thought about billions of people dying from a sickness that was made to kill them. It was horrifying. How did my ancestor stop it? He asked. He was here by accident, the queen said. His ship had lost its way. A malfunction in his navigation system. He arrived in our space during the war. He was captured, just like you were captured today. She turned to look at him. But the queen of that time, my grandmother's grandmother, she was wise. She did not kill him or put him in prison. She talked to him. She learned about humans. She learned that your kind was brave, curious, good. The queen walked back toward Dohon. When we discovered the plague ship was coming, we sent our best warriors to stop it. But they failed. Our ships were too weak. Our weapons were not strong enough. The plague ship had powerful defenses. So what did Tai-Wu do? He volunteered, the queen said. He said that if Velen ships could not get close to the plague ship, maybe a human ship could. His ship was small, fast, different from ours. The plague ship might not recognize it as a threat. She sat down again, her body heavy with the weight of the story. He was right. His ship got close. Very close. But even then, his weapons were not strong enough to destroy the plague ship completely. So he did the only thing he could do. Dawn already knew what she was going to say. His heart was pounding. He flew his ship into the plague ship. He crashed into its center. The explosion destroyed both ships. The plague burned away in the fire. Tears were running down the Queen's face now. Real tears. Clear and bright. He died instantly. He died alone. He died far from his home, for people he did not know, for a world that was not his own. Dohan felt something in his chest. A strange feeling. Pride? Sadness? He did not know. Why did he do it? Dawn asked. Why would anyone do that? The Queen looked at him with something like wonder. We asked the same question. For years. For decades. For centuries. Why would a human give his life for aliens? You have no debt to us. We had done nothing for him. He owed us nothing. She shook her head slowly. We finally decided that it was simply who he was. Who humans are. You are a strange species. You care about others. Even others who are not your kind. You fight for what is right, even when it costs you everything. Dawn thought about this. He thought about the soldiers he had served with. The firefighters. The doctors. The ordinary people who risked their lives to help strangers. Maybe the Queen was right. Maybe there was something in human nature that made them care about others. After Tai Wu died, the Queen continued, my ancestors made an oath. A sacred promise. They said that the debt could never be repaid. No matter how much time passed. No matter how many generations came and went. If any human carrying Tai Wu's mark ever came to Vela, they would be treated as the most honored guest. As family, she touched the tattoo on Dohan's neck again. We kept records of the mark. We sent ships to find Tai Wu's family. But space is large, and humans move around a lot. We could never find them. Until now. Until I crashed on your planet, Dawn said. Yes, some would call it chance. I call it fate. Dohan did not know if he believed in fate. But he could not deny that what had happened was strange. His navigation system had malfunctioned. His ship had crashed here, of all places. On the one planet in the galaxy where his family name meant something. What happens now? He asked. The Queen smiled. Now, you rest. Tomorrow, I will show you everything. I will show you what we have built. I will show you the monument we made for your ancestor. I will show you why your family's sacrifice matters to us still. She stood up and extended her hand to help him rise. And then, if you wish, I will send you home. With our thanks. With our gifts. With the eternal friendship of the Velan Empire. Dawn stood up. And if I do not wish to go home right away? The Queen's smile grew wider. Then you are welcome to stay as long as you like. Years. Decades. Forever. Vela is your home now, too. You are one of us. Guards came forward to escort Dawn to his room. But before he left, he turned back to the Queen. Your Majesty, he said, why did my family not tell me this story? Why did they keep it secret? The Queen's expression became thoughtful. I do not know. Perhaps they forgot over time. Perhaps they thought it was just a legend. Or perhaps they were protecting you, protecting me. From what? From the weight of it, the Queen said. Knowing that your ancestor was a hero is a heavy thing. Some people might feel they can never live up to such a legacy. Your family might have wanted you to be free, to be your own person, not just a descendant of a savior. Dohan thought about his father, his grandfather. Quiet men, proud men. They had never talked about ancient history. They had focused on the present, on working hard, on taking care of family. Maybe they did not want Dohan to feel pressured to be special. But now he knew the truth. and he could not unknow it. "I understand," he said. "Thank you for telling me. Thank you for coming," the queen replied, even if it was by accident. The next morning, Queen Yura came to Dawn's room personally. This was unusual, as he would soon learn. Queens did not visit guests. Guests came to queens. But Yura wanted to show him that he was not an ordinary guest. He was special. He was family. "Did you sleep well?" she asked as servants brought him breakfast. "I did," Dawn said. "Better than I expected." "Good. Today, I will show you something important. Something sacred to my people. Are you ready?" Dawn nodded. He was curious. He wanted to know more about his ancestor. He wanted to understand why his sacrifice meant so much to these alien people. They walked through the palace together. Guards followed them, but at a distance. The queen did not seem worried about safety. Perhaps she trusted Dohan completely. Or perhaps she was simply confident in her own strength. They took a series of hallways and stairs until they reached a door that was different from the others. It was made of dark stone, not crystal or gold. It had no decorations, no symbols, just simple, heavy stone. "This is the Hall of Memory," the queen said. "Only the royal family can enter, and those we choose to honor." She placed her hand on the door. It glowed briefly, then opened. The room inside was dark. As they walked in, light slowly came on, revealing what was inside. Dohan stopped breathing. The room was huge, the size of a stadium, and every wall, every surface was covered with names. Millions of names carved into the stone. Names of villains who had died in the war 300 years ago. Names of those who had died from other plagues. Names of heroes and victims and ordinary people. In the center of the room stood a single statue. A human statue. It was Kang Tae-woo. Doan walked toward it slowly, his legs barely working. The statue was perfect. It showed a young man in a flight suit, standing tall and proud. His face was calm. His eyes looked up at the stars. And on his neck, clear as day, was the tattoo, the mark of the Savior. "We made this from the records of his ship," Queen Yura explained. "His ship had cameras. We recovered images of his face, his body, everything. We wanted to make sure we never forgot what he looked like." Dohan reached out and touched the statue's hand. It was cold stone, but it felt real somehow, like he was touching his ancestor across time and space. "He looks young," Dohan said softly. He was 26 years old when he died. 26. Just 2 years older than Dohan was now. So young. So incredibly young. "Tell me more about him," Dohan said. "Tell me everything you know." The queen nodded and began to speak. As she talked, images appeared on the walls around them. Projections from ancient records, videos, pictures, documents, everything the villains had saved about Kang Tae-woo. "He was a pilot," the queen said. "A good pilot. Not the best, according to his records, but skilled and brave. He had been in space for 3 years when his ship lost its way and arrived here. An image showed Tae-woo's ship. It was small and old. Nothing special. Just a standard exploration vessel. When our ships captured him, he did not fight. He surrendered peacefully. He said he was not looking for trouble. He just wanted to go home." Another image. Tae-woo standing in front of Velen guards, his hands raised. His face was not scared. He was smiling a little, like he found the situation interesting instead of terrifying. The queen of that time, Vera, decided to talk to him instead of killing him. It was an unusual choice. We were at war. We did not trust outsiders. But Vera was curious about humans. She had heard stories about your kind, but had never met one. The images changed to show Tai Wu in a room similar to the throne room. He was sitting across from Queen Vera, talking. Neither of them looked afraid. They looked like two people having a normal conversation. They talked for days. Queen Yera continued. Tai Wu told Vera about Earth, about human history, about your wars and your peace, your art and your science, your kindness and your cruelty. Dohan watched the silent images of his ancestor and the ancient queen. Vara was fascinated. She had never met anyone so open, so honest. Tai Wu did not hide humanity's flaws. He did not pretend humans were perfect. He told the truth, good and bad. That is unusual, Dohan admitted. Most people try to make their species look good. That is what Vera thought. She respected Tai Wu's honesty. She began to trust him. The images shifted again. Now they showed the sky. A dark shape moving among the stars. The plague ship? Our scouts found the plague ship 2 weeks after Tai Wu arrived. It was heading straight for Vila. It would arrive in 10 days. We had 10 days to save our entire species. The queen's voice became heavy. Vera called her generals, her scientists, her advisors. They all said the same thing. The plague ship was too strong. Our weapons could not destroy it from a safe distance. Any ship that got close would be shot down. So they thought everyone would die, Dohan said. Yes, Vera told her people to prepare for the end. Some ran. Some prayed. Some simply waited. An image showed cities in chaos. Velans running through the streets. Parents holding their children. Old ones sitting quietly, accepting their fate. But Tai Wu had a different idea. The images changed to show Tai Wu in a meeting with Vera and her generals. He was pointing at a diagram of the plague ship. He said that his human ship was different from Velan ships. It was smaller. Its energy signature was different. The plague ship might not recognize it as a threat. It might let him get close. But even if he got close, what could he do? Dohan asked. You said Velan weapons were not strong enough. You are right. Tai Wu's weapons were even weaker than ours. He knew he could not destroy the plague ship from outside. The queen paused. Her eyes were wet again. So he decided to destroy it from inside. Dohan felt his stomach drop. He planned to fly his ship directly into the plague ship's core. The impact would create an explosion. Combined with the plague ship's own fuel and the biological material inside, it would create a fire hot enough to burn everything, including the plague, including himself. The room was silent. The images kept playing. They showed Tai Wu's ship leaving the planet, a small dot against the vast darkness of space, flying toward death. Vara tried to stop him, the queen said. She ordered him not to go. She said she could not let a guest die for her people. But Tai Wu refused to listen. An audio recording played. Tai Wu's voice, speaking in human language. Your Majesty, with respect, you cannot stop me. My ship, my choice. If I can save billions of lives with my one life, that is a trade worth making. Any human would do the same. Dohan's eyes were burning. He blinked hard. Vera asked him why. Why would he die for strangers? For aliens? For people who were not his family? Another recording. You are people. That is enough. Good people should not die if I can stop it. That is just how I was raised. That is just what humans do. The queen touched Dohan's shoulder gently. Those were not the words of a hero trying to be remembered. Those were the words of a simple man doing what he thought was right. That is what made it so powerful. He did not think he was special. He thought any human would do the same thing. The images showed Tai Wu's ship getting closer to the plague ship. Weapons fired at him. He dodged some. Others hit his ship and damaged it. But he kept going. Closer and closer. His ship was falling apart, the Queen said. He was wounded, bleeding, but he did not stop. He did not turn back. He flew straight into the heart of the plague ship. The final image was a bright light, an explosion that filled the screen. Then darkness. He died instantly, the Queen said. He did not suffer. The fire took everything. Dawn was crying now. He did not care who saw. He had never known this man, this ancestor, but he felt connected to him in a way he could not explain. After the explosion, the Queen continued, our scientists checked the area. The plague was completely destroyed. Not a single spore remained. Taiwu had saved us all. She gestured around the room at all the names carved into the walls. Every name here is a person who lived because of him. Every name is someone's parent, child, friend, or lover. Millions of lives. All because one human chose to be brave. Dawn looked at the names. So many. So many people who never knew how close they came to death. So many people who owed their existence to a stranger from another world. What happened after? He asked. Vera declared a day of mourning. Then a day of celebration. Then she made the oath. The oath of Taiwu. The Queen walked to a wall where special words were carved in both Velen language and, to Dohan's surprise, in human language. We, the Velen people, swear by our blood and our honor to never forget the sacrifice of Kang Tewu of Earth. We swear to treat his bloodline as our own. We swear to repay our debt whenever chance allows. This oath shall never be broken. This debt shall never expire. Until the last star dies and the universe ends, we will remember. Daohan read the words twice. 3 times. You carved this in human language, he said. Vera wanted to make sure that if any human ever came here, they would understand. She learned your language just to write these words. Daohan could not speak. The weight of it all was crushing him. For 300 years, the Queen said, we have kept this oath. Every child learns about Taiwu in school. Every temple has his image. Every ship in our fleet carries his name somewhere on its hull. He is part of us now, forever. She walked back to Dawn and stood before the statue of his ancestor. And now you are here. His blood, his family. The universe has finally given us a chance to begin repaying our debt. Daohan looked at the statue, at his ancestor's calm face. I do not know if I can ever be like him, Daohan admitted. You do not 3 days passed on Veladot each day. Daohan learned something new. He visited museums that had entire sections dedicated to his ancestor. He met scholars who had spent their whole lives studying human culture because of Taiwu. He ate meals with generals who commanded fleets that carried human names on their ships. But on the 4th day, something unexpected happened. A message came from the communication center. A signal from deep space. A human signal. Your people are looking for you, Queen Yura told him as they walked to the communication room. They detected your crash. They sent ships to find you. Daohan felt his heart jump. His people. They were coming for him. He would not be lost forever. But then another feeling came. Something he did not expect. Sadness. He was not ready to leave. There was still so much he wanted to learn. So much he wanted to understand. The communication room was full of equipment. Screens showed maps of space. Officers worked at their stations, monitoring signals from across the galaxy. We can respond to their signal, the Queen said. We can tell them you are safe. We can arrange for them to come here, or we can take you to them. Whatever you wish. Daohan thought about it. Going home sounded good. His mother would be worried. His commanding officer would have questions. His friends would want to know what happened. But there were still secrets here. Still mysteries about his family that he needed to solve. Before I decide, Daohan said slowly, I need to know something. Why did my family never tell me this story? You said you sent ships to find Taiwu's family. You searched for them. What happened? The queen's expression changed. She looked uncomfortable, like she was holding back something important. Your Majesty, Dohon said. Please, I need to know. The queen sighed and nodded to one of her officers. The officer brought up information on one of the screens. We did find Taiwu's family, the queen admitted. About 200 years ago, we found his grandson living on a colony world far from Earth. Dohan's breath caught in his throat. You found them? Then why? We approached them carefully. We did not want to frighten them. We sent a single ambassador in a neutral ship. She met with Taiwu's grandson, a man named Kang Junho. Images appeared on the screen. Old images. A young violin woman standing with a human man. The human had the same tattoo on his neck. The mark of the Savior. Junho listened to our story. He was amazed. He had no idea his grandfather had done such a thing. His father had never told him. The story had been lost. So what went wrong? Dawn asked. The queen hesitated. Then she continued. Junho was happy to learn about his grandfather. But he was also scared. He said that humans were not ready to know about the Velen Empire. At that time, humanity had barely started exploring deep space. They had not met many alien species yet. They were afraid of the unknown. The officer brought up more documents. Old messages. Letters between Junho and the Velen ambassador. Junho asked us to keep our distance. He said that if humans learned about a powerful alien empire that felt they owed a debt to one family, it would cause problems. Other humans might become jealous. Governments might try to use the connection for power. The Cam family might be in danger. Dawn understood immediately. His ancestors' sacrifice could be turned into a political tool. Countries might fight over control of the Kang family. Corporations might try to buy their loyalty. It would be chaos. So Junho made a deal with us, the queen said. He asked us to stay away from humanity until humans were ready. He said he would pass down the tattoo, the mark, so that his descendants would always be recognizable. But he would not pass down the story. He wanted his children and grandchildren to grow up normal, to be free. Dohan touched his tattoo. Now he understood why his father and grandfather never explained it. They were protecting us, he said. Yes, Junho believed that someday the right descendant would find their way here, whether by accident or by choice. And when that happened, it would be time. Time for the secret to be revealed. The queen looked at Dohan with wonder in her eyes. He was right. You came here by accident. You crashed on our world without knowing anything. The universe chose you. The moment chose itself. Dohan sat down heavily. His mind was spinning with all this information. His ancestor had made a deal with aliens 200 years ago. A deal to protect his family. A deal to give them freedom. And that deal had held until now. Until Dahan crashed his ship on the one planet in the galaxy where his name meant everything. What do I do now? He asked, mostly to himself. That is your choice, the queen said gently. You can go home and keep the secret like your ancestors did. You can tell your family and let them decide what to do. Or, she paused, or, Dawn asked, or you can be the bridge. Dawn looked up at her. The bridge? The queen sat down across from him. Her eyes were serious, important. The galaxy is changing. Humans are no longer isolated. You have met other species. You have built alliances. You are becoming a major power in this region of space. Soon, very soon, humans and Velens will meet officially whether we plan for it or not. She leaned forward. When that happens, having a bridge could make everything smoother. Someone who understands both peoples. Someone who is trusted by both sides. Someone who can translate not just words, but also feelings and intentions. Dohan felt the weight of her words. She was not just offering him a role. She was offering him a purpose. "You want me to be an ambassador," he said. "I want you to be more than that. I want you to be a friend. A real friend between our peoples. Not because of politics or treaties, but because of blood and honor and shared history." Dohan thought about his life back home. He was a simple pilot. He flew patrol missions. He went home to his small apartment. He watched shows on his screen and ate instant noodles. His life was ordinary, forgettable. But here, he could be something more. He could continue his ancestors' legacy, not by dying for strangers, but by bringing them together. "If I agree," he said slowly, "what would that mean? What would I actually do?" The Queen smiled. She had been waiting for this question. "First, you would stay here for a while longer. Learn our language properly. Learn our customs. Understand our people. Then, when you are ready, you would return to human space. But not alone. You would send someone with me? I would send a delegation. A small one. Just a few of our best diplomats. They would make contact with your leaders quietly. Explain who we are, what we want. And most importantly, they would tell the story of Kang Tai-Wu." Dohan could see it in his mind. Human leaders learning that an alien empire owed a debt to humanity because of one man's sacrifice 300 years ago. It would change everything. "People might not believe it," he said. "They will believe it when they see the evidence. The recordings, the documents, the monuments. We have kept everything. Every piece of proof that shows what Tai-Wu did." The Queen reached out and took his hand. "And they will believe it when they see you, his descendant, his blood, standing beside us as a friend." Dohan looked into her glowing eyes. He saw hope there. Real hope. Not just for her people, but for both peoples. For a future where humans and Velans work together instead of being strangers. "My family kept this secret for 200 years, he said. "They thought the universe was not ready. And now?" the Queen asked. Dohan was quiet for a long moment. He thought about his ancestor flying into certain death. He thought about Junho making a deal to protect his family. He thought about his father and grandfather, passing down the mark without understanding why not each generation had done what they thought was right. Now it was his turn. "I think," he said finally, "that Junho was wrong about one thing." "What is that?" "He thought the right descendant would come here someday. But there is no right descendant. There is just whoever shows up. Whoever is standing in the moment when the moment arrives." He straightened his back and met the Queen's eyes. "I am not special. I am not a hero. I am just a pilot who crashed his ship in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I am here. And that has to be enough." The Queen squeezed his hand. "It is enough," she said. "It has always been enough." Dohan nodded. His decision was made. "I will be your bridge," he said. "I will learn your ways. I will go back to my people. And I will help bring our worlds together." The Queen stood up, and when she did, everyone else in the room stood too. Guards, officers, diplomats, all of them looking at Dohan with respect. "Then let it be known," the Queen declared, her voice loud and clear, "that Kang Dohan, descendant of Kang Tai-Wu, has accepted his place among us. He is the bridge, the first friend, the living proof that the debt is being repaid." Everyone in the room bowed their heads. Dohan did not know what to say. He was overwhelmed, but he managed to stand up and bow back. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will do my best." "That is all we ask," the Queen replied. "That is all Tai-Wu ever did. His best." Later that day, they sent a message to the human ship searching for Dawn. The message said that he was alive and well, that he was staying voluntarily as a guest of a friendly civilization. that he would return when he was ready, bringing news that would change humanity's place in the galaxy. The human commanders did not understand. They asked questions. They demanded explanations, but Doan told them to be patient. He told them that something amazing had happened. Summit. 6 months had passed since Dohan crashed on Veladot. In that time, he had changed. He could speak the Velen language almost fluently now. He understood their customs. He knew which gestures were respectful and which were insulting. He had learned how to read their expressions. Even though their faces did not move like human faces, he had also grown stronger. The Velen doctors had treated his injuries from the crash. They had given him special exercises to build his body. They had even offered him treatments that would help him live longer, though he had politely refused. He wanted to remain fully human, but the biggest change was inside him. He no longer felt like a simple pilot who had crashed in the wrong place. He felt like someone with a purpose, someone who mattered, not because of who he was, but because of what he could do, what he could build, the bridge. That was his title now. And today, he would finally start building that bridge. A Velen ship waited for him in the palace dock. It was not a warship. It was a diplomatic vessel, sleek and white, with the royal symbol on its hull. And underneath the royal symbol, carved in gold, was the mark of the Savior. Doan touched the mark on his neck. The same mark. His blood. His legacy. Queen Ira stood beside him, along with the delegation that would accompany him. 5 Velens, each an expert in something. Diplomacy, science, culture, trade, military affairs. Together, they would make first contact with humanity. "Are you nervous?" the Queen asked. "Very," Doan admitted. "What if they do not believe us? What if they think this is a trick?" The Queen smiled. "They will believe eventually. The evidence is too strong. The story is too powerful. And you are there to guide them." She placed her hand on his shoulder. "Remember, you are not asking them to trust us immediately. You are just opening a door. Trust comes later. Understanding comes later. For now, just open the door." Doan nodded. He had repeated these words to himself many times over the past months. Just open the door. Everything else will follow. "There is one more thing," the Queen said. She reached into her robe and pulled out a small box. "A gift for you. For this moment." Doan opened the box. Inside was a small badge made of crystal. It had the mark of the Savior on one side and the Velen royal symbol on the other. "This badge shows that you speak for the Velen Empire," the Queen explained. "Whoever sees this will know that your words carry the weight of 1,000 worlds." Doan held the badge carefully. It was light in his hand, but it felt heavy in his heart. "I will not let you down," he said. "I know you will not. You are his descendant. You cannot." They embraced. Human and Velen, 2 different species holding each other like family, because they were family now, connected by blood and sacrifice and 300 years of waiting. Then, Dohan boarded the ship. The journey to human space took 3 weeks. The Velen ship was fast, faster than anything humans had built. It crossed distances and hours that would take human ships days. But they did not want to arrive too quickly. They wanted to give Doan time to prepare. Every day, he reviewed his speech. He practiced answers to questions he thought leaders might ask. He talked with the Velen diplomats about how to present themselves, how to seem friendly without seeming weak, how to seem powerful without seeming threatening. Finally, they arrived at the border of human space. Dohan had sent messages ahead. He had contacted his commanding officer, who had contacted higher authorities, who had contacted even higher authorities. By now, the leaders of the Human Alliance knew that something big was coming. They did not know exactly what, but they knew it involved an alien civilization and a soldier named Kang Dohan. The meeting was arranged to happen on a neutral station in deep space. A place where neither side would feel threatened. A place where history could be made. The station was already crowded when they arrived. Human ships surrounded it. Thousands of them. Not attacking, just watching. Waiting to see what would happen. Doan felt his heart beating fast as the Velen ship docked. This was it. The moment his ancestor had made possible 300 years ago. The moment his family had protected for 200 years. The moment he had trained for during 6 months on Vila. The door opened. Duhan walked out first. He wore a simple uniform. Human military style, but with Velen decorations added. The badge from Queen Yera was pinned to his chest. The tattoo on his neck was clearly visible. Behind him came the Velen delegation. 5 aliens in white robes. Tall and imposing, but moving slowly and peacefully. The station's main hall was filled with humans. Military leaders in dress uniforms. Politicians in expensive suits. Scientists with curious eyes. Reporters with cameras floating beside them. And in the front, standing alone, was an old woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. The Chancellor of the Human Alliance. The most powerful human alive. Doan walked toward her. Every step felt like a mile. Every second felt like an hour. But he kept walking. He kept his back straight. He kept his face calm. He stopped in front of the Chancellor and bowed his head. "Chancellor Park," he said. "Thank you for meeting with us." The Chancellor studied him for a long moment. Her eyes moved from his face to his tattoo to the aliens behind him. "Sergeant Kang," she said. Her voice was cold but curious. "You have caused quite a stir. A crashed pilot returns with an alien delegation from an empire we have never heard of. And they say they owe humanity a debt. Quite a story." "It is the truth," Doan said. "If you will allow me, I will explain everything." The Chancellor nodded once. "That is why we are here. Explain." Dohan took a deep breath. Then he began. He told them everything. The crash. The capture. The Queen recognizing his tattoo. The story of Kang Te-Wu. The plague ship. The sacrifice. The oath. The 200 years of waiting. As he talked, the Velen diplomats presented evidence. Recordings of Tai-Wu's voice. Images from 300 years ago. Documents signed by ancient queens. Everything they had kept to prove the truth. The humans watched in silence. Some looked skeptical. Some looked amazed. Some looked like they did not know what to feel. When Doan finished, the hall was quiet. No one moved. No one spoke. Then the Chancellor stepped forward. "Let me understand," she said slowly. 300 years ago, a human pilot sacrificed himself to save an alien civilization. That civilization swore an oath to repay the debt. And now they are here, offering friendship to all of humanity because of what one man did. "Yes," Doan said. "That is correct." The Chancellor looked at the Velen delegation. Then back at Dahan. "Why should we believe this is not a trick? An elaborate lie to get us to trust aliens we know nothing about?" One of the Velen diplomats stepped forward. His name was Ren. He was old, even by Velen standards. "Chancellor," he said in careful human language, "I understand your doubt. I would doubt too in your position. But consider this." He pointed at Dohan's neck. "This mark has been recorded in our history for 3 centuries. We did not know where Tai-Wu's descendants were. We could not have planted this man or his family. He came to us by accident. The universe brought him to us." Ren bowed his triangular head. "We do not ask for immediate trust. We only ask for a chance. A chance to show you who we are. A chance to begin repaying what can never be fully repaid." The Chancellor was silent for a long time. Dahan could see her thinking, calculating, weighing the risks and rewards. Finally, she spoke. I have one question for you, Sergeant Kang. Yes, Chancellor? Do you believe them? Not their evidence. Not their words. You. Do you believe they are sincere? Doan met her eyes. I have lived with them for 6 months. I have seen how they treat each other. I have seen how they treat me. I have watched children learn about my ancestor in their schools. I have seen soldiers weep when they look at his statue. He stepped closer to the Chancellor. These people saved my life when they could have killed me. They honored me when they could have used me. They gave me a choice when they could have made demands. Yes, Chancellor. I believe them. With every part of me. The Chancellor stared at him for a moment longer. Then, something changed in her expression. The coldness faded. Something warmer took its place. Then, she said, "We will give them a chance." She turned to the Velen delegation. On behalf of the Human Alliance, I welcome you. We accept your offer of friendship. We will begin discussions about trade and cooperation and mutual defense. We will learn about each other. And we will see where this path leads. The Velens bowed deeply. Thank you, Chancellor, Ren said. The debt of 300 years begins to be repaid today. The Chancellor almost smiled. Let us make Kang Tai-Wu proud. The hall erupted in noise. People talking. Cameras flashing. History being recorded from every angle. Dahan did not hear any of it. He was thinking about his ancestor. The young pilot who had flown into certain death to save strangers. The man who had believed that good people should not die if he could stop it. Tai-Wu had not known what his sacrifice would create. He had not known that 300 years later, his descendant would stand in a space station and change the relationship between two civilizations. He had just done what he thought was right, and now his legacy was complete. Not just a saved planet, not just an oath kept, but a bridge between species, a friendship between stars. A future built on the foundation of one man's courage. Adon touched his tattoo one more time. We did it, grandfather, he whispered. All of us together. Somewhere, across time and space, he liked to think that Kang Ta-Wu was smiling.